All right. We are going to do an overexplained run because that sounds like fun for me. Let's see, where we put this at. Let's just put everything to, we'll still randomize that. Make that normal. Whatever. Okay. And for what we're doing, we can't really do this on a tiny or small map, or you won't really get to see the effect of what's happening. So, what we are going to do is we are going to, I was playing with the Iconians earlier, I was testing something. Come on. Come on. We're going to be playing as the Krynn. And the Krynn have a really interesting way of going about the game. Okay, so for reference, the reason we're not playing on a tiny map or a small map is because that's a little too free of a win as the Krynn for the win, because their influence is so strong that if you're not playing on at least a medium map, the Krynn will just run over everybody with their influence. It gets really absurd. All right. So, let's talk plans here. We'll get into that later. So we're gonna go ahead and reset all of that. I, at this point, always take creativity. I always take luck. And for the type of win we're going for now, we're gonna take a fat bump to diplomacy. And we're also going to go for a bit of influence as well. Okay. All right. All right. And then this for more influence and diplomacy, because that's what our win con is here. I didn't know what luck was when I first started playing the game. So luck essentially it's something that helps out in like ship to ship combat. So for example, so you know how combat works basically in turns, right? So the attackers shoot and then the defenders shoot. Damage is done. Even if the defenders are killed, they're dealt lethal damage, they still shoot, unless you're doing the Archeans like first round special bonus, which is why the Archeans have a special like attack style. But generally speaking, both sides shoot, and then any ships that have been dealt lethal damage are removed from battle, and then any remaining ships will shoot, and that keeps on going forever. So how does shooting work? So let's just say, for the sake of example, you have 10 laser power on your ship. 10 lasers. Not like 10 weapons, like 10 total power. So when your ship attacks, what happens is it rolls internally, it rolls a random number from 0 up to, in this example, 10, but it's whatever the value of that weapon is. And it always does a minimum of 1. It does not round up, so if you roll like 1.2, I believe that's still a 1, but you can never do 0 from this rounding thing. So if you roll like a 0.5, that gets hit the floor of 1. Now keep in mind, that's not the same thing as rolling from 1 to 10. You're rolling from 0 to 10, and the zeros get pushed up to a 1. Those are slightly different. Anyway, how does this affect luck? So luck raises the floor of how low you can roll. So if you have 20% luck, that means your floor, your low roll, is set to 20% of your max roll instead of 0. So if you're rolling with a max of 10, that means the lowest you can roll is a 2. That's my understanding of luck. I've tested it slightly and it seems to be correct, but the wiki is hit or miss. But that's, I think, how luck works. Anyway, appearance. Do I like them being purple? It's fine. So, it's a medium map. We'll put 4 people on here. We're just going to play on tough because I don't want to have to think too hard about this. We're just going to be explaining some stuff. They could be random. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this. Just, just give it a sec. We'll get there. All right. So here we are as the Krynn. We have already met the dragon. Ooh. It's too bad that their secondary world is over here because I considered sniping it out just now. But I wouldn't get there first. So we've literally met them already. And this already looks problematically good for me. I have gotten a phenomenal start. Yeah, there's no way they don't get it. And there's no way I do. So, let's check something. I don't know how many minor races are in the game, but galactic rank, there are 6 planets currently colonized. And there are 5 nations, which means somewhere out there is 1 minor race. You can always do that at the start of a game, is if you click on the details for your planet, it'll tell you the galactic rank, and it'll tell you how many planets are colonized. This includes minor races. So, there are 6 planets total, and there's 5 nations. That leaves 1 minor race. Alright, that's pretty straightforward. Sorry I'm so sniffly. I'm just always a sniffly boy. Now, we don't know where this minor race is. So we're going to go ahead and launch this. We're going to send it this way. And we're going to go ahead and buy another colony ship right away. We're going to set military to 0 because there's no military progress that could be happening right now because we have 1 planet and we just bought something, so there's nothing to be done there. All right. This tile we are going to save for something in particular. So we're not going to use that one right now. So what I like to do when I'm playing using the Krynn is I always do it the same way. I do 2 factories, 2 research labs, and then the consulates, and then we'll get back to this special tile. And then, oh, I haven't looked at this in a while, but you know what? Let's just do the simple way and go for a little bit more research, and then we're going to put this here. And we'll talk about why we're putting this here when it comes up. I promise. We'll put a pin in that, and we'll get back to that. Okay, we're going to start by focusing on that. So the strategy right now, I know it's literally turn 0, but you got to have a game plan. So currently, our strategy is to go through this part of the tech tree, get the political capital, and then go down and get the way. And then we're going to go and get as many of these diplomacy boosting technologies and wonders as we can so we can start fucking rinsing people in trades. And then after that, we'll go into some other influence boosting stuff like these Krynniak stuff, and then we'll get the governments going. That's the basic plan. All right, now it starts with Xeno Communications. So let's not forget to bump up the jam here, and I think I can set my, yeah, let's, is it here? Yeah, 45%. And I'm still at 100% happiness because Krynn are very happy people. Look at that, 52% morale. The game has literally just started. I have a 50% morale bonus. Krynn are just good like that. So I've met the dragon. That's lucky fast. I'm going to put this here now. The Krynn start with a spy, so they don't actually have to pay for the first one, which is nice. And I plan on, well, I'll get more spies later. Anyway, so, before I actually get going, if I'm playing a game, like, seriously, and we're doing an over-explained run, so I'm going to explain things as if I was, like, playing correctly. I don't always. So, I like to look at the mini-map here. I have the mini-map set up with these things visible. Sometimes ships, not always. Sometimes it just gets in the way. But I like to have the planets visible, so I can tell where shit is. And I like to have ownership visible. I don't care about seeing this whole fog of war thing. You can see it on the overlay. So I just look at the ownership here. Plus, you can tell where everyone starts. So, like, this is Archaea right here. This is Quarks. This is the Dratha. Here's obviously Drangy planet. So that's where everyone starts. And so you got to think about who is going to do well in the colonization phase and who is not. Okay? Because that's going to determine a lot of who does well in the game. So the dragons are, I hate to say it, but basically out of the game already. If you can look at the mini map here, I am with my culture already, like, this is just starting, and I am their home world turn 1 or turn 0 is starting in my influence. That's a problem for them. So on top of that, we have to look at, okay, how are these guys going to get any other planets? I am going to, this colony ship I'm buying, this ship is going over here. That's the plan. Because this ship is going to go that way. Now, I don't know if the dragons are going to buy a ship right away, but basically my plan is to buy a colony ship, send it over here, buy another colony ship, and have it try to find a planet out in here. I'm not too worried about the dragons taking Gela because that will, before long, culture flip to me. I might, just to prevent them from having this for the next, like, year or so. My third colony ship might just take Gela, come to think of it. Okay. So the dragons are going to have a rough time of it. So, that's one evil race. Here's the other evil race. It's the Quarks. Now, one of these, somewhere on, like, the southwest side of the map, there's so many planets over here. This is probably where the minor race is. But no one's going to take over them for a while. So, the Quarks, how are they going to be doing? Well, for one, they're going to be sending freighters out to everybody. We're kind of far away. We'll be getting solid money from that. So, this is maybe a planet, and this is maybe a planet. So the Quarks, we're only playing on, like, occasional habitable planets. So it's reasonable to, like, conservatively assume they'll get 2 more planets here. So the Quarks are going to be doing pretty solid. And the Drath are also going to be doing pretty solid. Archaeans maybe not so much. Archaeans are slow. You have to remember that early game Archaeans are slow because they have no movement technologies to start with. So they're moving 2 per turn. So if there's something here, I will get it first. And so the Archaeans are going to have to try and get here next. So that's basically how that's going to go. The Drath and the Quarks are going to be pretty good. The Archaeans are going to have a rough time, especially if this doesn't work out. So it's basically going to be me, the Quarks, and the Drath. Now, for my diplomacy-heavy strategy, the Drath are kind of annoying because their base level diplomacy is pretty solid. Dragons, diplomacy, out the gate, trash can. I am going to ruin the Dragons' entire life. They're never going to get to do anything. They don't get to play the game. And that's not even their fault. This is just RNG. Like, what if I was playing the Dragons this time around? Like, what would I do? Well, I know exactly what I would do is I would rush ion cannons, then planetary invasion, and kill the Krynn before they got to do anything. Because that's how you play against the Krynn. Early game, let's take a look at where my soldiering is at. Oh, but wait a second. I don't see soldiering on here. Exactly, because soldiering is at 0 right now. And Dragon base level soldiering is pretty good. So they could invade me and take me out, especially since our planets are right next to each other. Like, that's what they should be doing. But they're not that smart, and they probably won't. Okay. All of that said, let's begin the game. Okay. And they made a scout. I'm going to send this out this way. And go ahead and head over there. And I'm going to make this other colony ship. And I'm actually just going to... I sent some people out so I can do that. Okay. And Xenium Communications, and Utrans is next. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can't surprise me with that. I'm actually going to hold on to this colony ship, just in case either of these has a planet better than Class 4, because that would be worth it to me. We'll see if that happens. And if not, the Dragons can't get here in 1 turn, even though their guys move 4, because this scout's going to be 3, and the other guys are like 4. Hit points is 7 of 7, so we know the base hit points for a ship of this size is 5. So they're getting some bonus or something. Okay, we see a research resource here. Is it worth it to get that? I don't have the money to just buy a constructor unless my flagship happens to just happen upon a whole bunch of money on one of these anomalies. And I don't want to take production away from the rest of the stuff I'm doing. In fact, I'm going to make this factory right now so we can start crunching out these labs. All right. See, there we go. They're trying for it. Can't see anything there. Can't see anything there. Yeah, we probably just have to take Gela and be happy with it. And all we're going to do here is put some research labs on here. So why just research labs? So this is a really small planet. It's making 7 money per turn right now. So if we put, for example, 3 markets on here, what's 30% of 7? It's like 2. Cool. These each have a maintenance of 1. I would be losing money on that. Now it'll eventually get bigger as this number increases, but that's not really worth it for now. So we put these research labs on here. It doesn't matter for the research labs what any of these other numbers are. They just do raw production. And I don't feel like putting 1 starport down and then like 2 little factories. Now, what's important for us right now is to get research, because all of our progress right now is dependent on some technologies, and this one especially is kind of big to be prioritized so hard. Now, here's another way the computers cheat, and it is what it is. The computer, off the bat, knows where all the habitable planets are. They just know. They know where all the resources are. They know where all the good planets are. So, whichever way this guy moves is going to be where there are usable planets. And we're low with the dragons. Okay, this makes me feel like aha, 3 habitable planets. Wow. Oh, you went back on your home planet? Anyway, U-Trans is done. We're gonna go for our political capital next. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's a couple lower class planets here, but I'm gonna get the 10, which is key. This ended up being a bust, but here is a good planet, and I hope I get it. Okay, here's this. I am gonna, let's see. We're just gonna do a bunch of research, and at the end we're gonna put a consulate on there, and that's just gonna be what we do with that one. The dragon are gonna get one of these planets, maybe 2 of them. As long as Chriseth has 100% happiness, I'm happy. Yeah, dragon are gonna get one of those. It's still gonna take me 2 turns to get there. Here's another thing. This just speaks to efficiency. So I have found out through a bit of testing what does and does not carry over. When you do research, you are doing, however much research per turn. And so that research goes into this, which takes a total of 115. I was doing like 20 per turn. I've got some progress on it already, as you can see. So what happens if I have to blow my nose real quick, I'm sorry. There it is. All right. So, when this is completed, you're doing like however much per turn. So what if you go over the 115? Well, it just carries over to the next technology, and you'll get like, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, however many TPs towards the next technology in that line. Now, not every technology has one following it, obviously. So if you overflow on alliances, that doesn't go anywhere. But if you overflow on Diplomacy 1, it goes to Diplomacy 2, and 2 goes to 3, that sort of thing. The type of thing that doesn't carry over is basically everything else. So, let's say you're making a ship. A colony ship is what? 141? Yeah, 141 to make. Cost is 141, as in 141 hammers to make. So like if we do this at 13 turns, 11 turns at 13 gets us there, because that's 130 plus 13 more is 143. So those 2 extra shields get wasted. Now, these things work the same way, but the actual cost to build one of these things is not. If it's listed somewhere, I don't know where it is. I've had to suss this stuff out myself by setting my production to 1 and just seeing how many turns it took to get there. I think research labs are 40, consulates like 25, markets are 30, farms are 30. Counter espionage is like 200. I had a spreadsheet somewhere. I haven't looked at it in a while, but there's some efficiency games you can play here. Now, the reason this comes up now, it's because The hammers that you spend building the consulate, the extra hammers do not roll over to the next thing you're building. In fact, even if you're building the same improvement over and over, those hammers don't carry over. So I'm producing 25 hammers right now, but by the looks of things, it's only a few hammers until this thing is done. I'm paying for 25 hammers. I'm only going to use 3 of them. The other 22 are straight up wasted. Completely wasted. They go nowhere. So, something you can do is buy this for 12. I haven't done the math to see what the conversion rate is for hammers to BC remaining, but maybe that's something I'll look into. Anyway, we can buy this now, and now all 25 of these hammers will go to this research lab. And now none of your production is wasted. So if you've got money, a little extra money, and I often will because I'm playing the Krynn, that's something you can do to sort of boost your production along, is not wasting any of these. It's just when you're getting close to completing, if it says 1 week left, that means unless things are going absolutely perfectly, you're about to overflow a little bit. So when it says 1 turn, if you just buy out that 1 turn, it'll just complete that and push to the next one. This does not work the same way as when you're building ships. So if you were to say buy a ship, the production you're making on that world does not roll over to some supposed secondary ship. Not at all. So unless you really need a ship, you can't play that particular efficiency game with it like that. I really want this planet. I hope I get it. All right. That's just a little thing that you can do. See, we can do it again here as well. It costs 30 BC to buy that out, but now all 7 of these hammers go to this thing. This is at 1 turn. We can buy this out. And we're only doing this because we have a bunch of extra money. And we want the research labs to happen now. I don't care how fast we get the counter-espionage center. Honestly, it's not important. Please, please, please. Yay! Okay, here, that's on 1 again, and we'll go ahead and do that. Anybody else on 1? No. Alright. So, I need to double check where I'm at. I'm here. 1 habitable planet in the system. See, you don't always just jump right on the planet. It's fine to try to like get some vision around beforehand and then grab the planet, just in case. And yes, they were 1 turn away from getting it. With 28 colonists, why that? Anyway, now we can start to spin up this world. Bump, 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 bump. And then you cancel and you cancel. Let's make the consulate here. We'll leave the spot open for now. Oh, slipped my mind to keep this at 100. There we go. And there sure are a lot of these resources around. It would be nice to grab them. When this completes, we'll start pushing for those. Alright, this is the poor Drangan's life right now. Look at the economy right now. So remember, tourism is based on how much space you control. And right now, no one's doing trade. It's too early. Maybe the Corks have set up trade with the Archeans or the Drath because they're close. But also, you know, maybe not. Alright, let's continue. Nobody has a military yet, I'm sure. My research is bad, but it doesn't matter. I'm the Krynn. We'll get to why. Okay, and now I can make a political capital, and in the meantime, we are going to go here and go straight for the way. This one is real fast. This is like 35 TP. That's nothing. But the rest is going to be something. Okay, so after this, we are going to turn one of these into a political capital. Just efficiency because I've got money for it. All right. $99. Let's keep you at 100. This is the most tedious thing. I wish I didn't have to do that. Okay, I got 2 planets. The Dragon got a couple planets as well, but mine are better because I'm a little closer to the center. Being closer to the center generally helps, or just being closer to wherever more of the uncolonized planets are is what's going to help. So, okay, this is the carryover thing right now. So, whatever we don't finish here carries over to Laws of Krynn. Not superior espionage with this one, it goes to the one on top. Archeans built that thing. Got a Krynn's done. Laws of Krynn is next up. How we doing? We might go ahead and buy that now, again, for efficiency. I would do anything if I thought it was very slightly more efficient. Okay, pay a little money to get that done. Pay a little money to get that done. Cruising. Oh, that's right. Well, no, not yet. And when you have a chance... I forgot it's not until we've gotten Laws of Krynn. There we go. Now we get the temple. Next is going to be the Order of Krynn. It's 22 turns. All this stuff is way faster. Don't care. Don't care. Hello, everybody. I don't have a military yet? No. So, let's show you how this is going to go. Where's diplomacy? Here's diplomacy. And the corks are the fucking... See, this is why having these two in here was annoying. But it'll show the difference. These two have sort of bad diplomacy. And mine will get higher in a bit. These are all relative diplomacies. So that's why when someone's goes down, you see mine go up at the same time. If you see me go up and everyone else goes down, it's because this is a relative graph. Okay. Anyway, we are just going to continue going for... Oh, that's right. I got a little bit more morale, so I can tax harder before I hit under 100% on here. Okay. Next turn, I'll buy 1 research lab. Oh, you guys are at... I'm so sorry. There you are. Yeah, see, like 6. Okay. And I wanted this to become this. In fact, we might do this now because it's a 1-turner. Boom. And now our influence is at 78 already. Look, we're wrapping around. None of their stuff is in their own influence. Oh, this is the power of an always swarm economy. Okay, research lab is all done, and now you can just focus on this. Okay, research lab, whatever it is. All right, keep it going. And look at that. That's because I built this thing. This influence we have now. See this? They got a planet over here. Yes, Gella's all done. Still 100 here. Yep. Oh, that's right, because the temple gives a lot of bonus happiness as well. And as these research labs complete, you see the Order of Krynn taking less and less time. I could have bought some last turn. Dang. And now I need to buy one this turn. Is it this guy? Yeah. Go ahead and buy that. And that was 4 turns, I believe. This guy. No, not yet. I thought somebody. Okay, well, next turn there will be 2. Okay. You have the research labs you get done, and you have the research labs you get done, just for the sake of not wasting any kind of progress. Now, how is this political capital doing next turn? I mean, I don't have another project coming. I'll do this and just let it complete. And now I push for the way of Krynn. Yes, I have a political capital. Thank you for noticing. So, we are probably not going to get any of these star bases, but we kind of don't need to. To be honest, I don't put much focus on star bases super early game, because early game they don't get you very much, because star bases get more powerful later in the game. But in the beginning, I'll get what, like 5% military, 5% economy, 5% research or whatever. It's not that big a deal. I'm not too concerned. Okay. Looks like the Oracle got finished, so we're going to go ahead and put one of these to that. Could it be 1 turn if I did this? No, it's always going to be 2. Okay. Look at our borders now. 132. Cool. Let's continue. Look how strong our borders are. This is why the Krynn are awesome. They don't have a military yet. Still no. I was kind of hoping the Archeans would have a military by now. There's some trade from the Corks, which we knew was coming. Oh, there it is. And then we wanted to, the reason I saved this one empty is because I wanted to put the Oracle of Krynn here, because this is the best morale building we get. So, boom, we'll put that on there. I feel like, I thought there was another one. Yeah, this. We'll go ahead and make that an Oracle when we have a chance. Alright. Let's continue. The Dark Yor. There you guys are. Do you guys happen to have anything? You're always here to serve at my whims. I don't want to take space militarization. I have to be careful with that one, because, well, it's because of the Archeans, honestly. They have a special replacement for space militarization. We'll give you stellar cartography for artificial gravity. See, this is the power of good diplomacy, is you can, and evil civs tend to have really bad diplomacy. You can just do something unfair to people in trades. Now, space militarization is one you need to avoid, but you would never agree to that? What if I put in a little bit of money? You know what, I don't need new propulsion techniques. But I need some money from you to make it worth my while. I'm giving them stellar cartography. It's a 15 TP tech that you get for free unless you're the Terrans. And just to make it worth my while, they're going to give me 52 and then these 5 technologies. That one's 35. That one's 216. I mean, trade with people. Just trade with people. Boom. Thanks. If I give you this, will you give me the other 2? Nah, you like your Interstellar Warfare. It's fine. We don't need to do all that. But hi, Dark Yor. Nice to meet you. You guys gonna get that? That'd be funny if you got it instead of the dragons, but they're gonna beat you to it, I think. Unless you're way faster than I thought. Anyway. let's... How's everyone doing? Everyone's actually feeling okay, except the dragons who are mad that we're pushing their borders. So when you're playing a diplomacy-heavy civilization, you've got to be expecting to take advantage of people in trades, because that's kind of the name of the game. And you should be happy to see that the Archeans are in the game, because they have some very cool, unique text. Oh, that was something. How about that? What do you know? The Archeans have some very cool text that nobody else gets access to. And if the game lasts long enough, then we're going to try to take them. We don't need to be at 100 for this, because this is going to go to max anyway. 90, 89, 87. So let's get you to 100. There we go. Now we know everyone's at 100. I think it's 0.075 at this point. Yeah. All right. Let's just continue. There's not a lot to think about at this moment, to be honest. We're just kind of... You know what? We can do that. We're just kind of waiting until we get the way. My borders are amazing. And this is the last planet building stuff. You can go ahead and build that. And next turn we'll probably just... Oh, hold on. Next turn we're probably just going to go ahead and buy this Order of Krynn, set this to max research, and then boom. There is nothing else we need to do except get the way. Nothing else matters. All these planets are just going to figure out the way. Do you know the way? Here's the way. All right, the way has been perfected. And so now what we need to grab is these diplomacy texts, so we can get diplomatic translators and a galactic showcase. And if there's time, we'll try to get the Galactic Bazaar, but the Corks are already in the game, and racing them to a thing they've had access to forever is probably not going to work out. So we're going to go for diplomatic relations. I'm curious, do you guys have war rooms? That's what I was looking for. So this is the replacement for interstellar warfare, and it comes with a little bit of creativity, and that's what's special about it. So nobody has a military yet, but that's not important. Anyway, let's... You want to do... Okay, so we're going to trade with everybody now, because I feel like it. I could have done this earlier. I was just waiting some arbitrary amount of time until... Oh, the draft of diplomacy went way up. I wonder what they did. Anyway, I was waiting some arbitrary amount of time until I felt like everyone got some technologies. I was hoping to wait until somebody built a military ship so I would know that I would get space weapons in these trades, but it's fine. So, back on this, you want to start from the bottom up. Well, I never turn off tech brokering. But the techs you get from these people, you want as bargaining chips, as more bargaining chips for everybody up the line. You don't start at the top, because you're not going to have anything to give them. And these people are going to be greedy. So, let's start by talking to the dragons, who have the worst diplomacy out of anybody else. Again, we cannot take this one, because this is the same. Strategic analysis is the dragon equivalent of space militarization or whatever. And we're not taking this because we want war rooms from the Archeans. But, you know what these guys really like? Oh, I have space weapons already? That's right, I got it from the Dark Yor. That's so funny. Anyway, I'll give you military starbase construction if... Look at this. Look at that. If you give me that. And was it this one? Yeah, not that one. they'll never trade away interstellar construction. For some reason, they really, really love this technology and they hate trading it away. They just won't do it. Did my game just crash? Okay. Woo! Worried me for a second there. Anyway, interstellar conquest, we can take that one. Basic diplomacy, that's what we're about to research now. We can take that one. Oh, not quite. What if I gave you like a small amount of money? Cool. We're going to take all three of these right now. Great. Now, oh, yes, basic diplomacy is done. Going to advanced diplomacy. Anyway, oops. So now let's talk to the Archeans. We want war rooms real bad. So counter-espionage is a wonderful thing because you start with it and you can trade it to everybody. However, giving everyone counter-espionage means that your spy game is basically done. So if you're going to start handing out counter-espionage, because remember, if you give it to one of them, they'll trade it to each other. So if you want to play the spy game in your playthrough, you don't give away counter-espionage. But if you don't care, then you can. It's a really nice bargaining chip. Like, this guy will probably give me everything except interstellar construction for counter-espionage. No? Is it basic logistics? It was basic logistics, wasn't it? Offers inadequate. What about a little bit of... Ooh, what about a little bit of money? Not that I care about all this stuff, I just wanted to show you the power of these trades. I'm actually going to hold on to counter-espionage just in case. For now. I'm going to save it as a big bargaining chip for later. The ones I really want, war rooms. Do I want this? I like trade. How much money would you want for all that? Ooh, you like trade, huh? Give you a space miner and a ship. Yeah, the ships never mean anything to them. Do I want trade? Research centers will do very little for me. Well, it might help, actually. We'll get some research faster. What do you think? Wouldn't be prudent? Really wouldn't be prudent. Alright, we'll do that for trade. You can have military star bases. Okay. Next up, I believe, was... Oh, but they're about the same, but technically the Drath are a little easier. What can the mighty Drath do for you? And look, we have more stuff to trade with them. I'm glad we got Mill Star-based construction from the Dark Yor. You guys have anything I want? Maybe this is a joke, correct? That's 144. This is like 216. Mine's more than yours. Fucker. You're such a greedy bastard. It's a good thing you don't have anything I want. And this guy. Master trade. I would have to give away some big stuff for that to work. Is there any way I can do it without giving away counter-espionage? I mean, they've got creativity anyway. Do I care? That doesn't even bring the cost down. Although that is something to consider. So the AI does this weird thing with trades, right? It's important to understand how the AI thinks of trades. So you put in these two, and it's going to say, I don't know what use we'd have for all those other texts. It's just one message. It doesn't matter how many you put in there. When we would already have space weapons, seems a bit shady, and we know a shitty deal when we see it. So they don't see that this has creativity on there, and that this comes with that. Like, having the prerequisite text is sometimes useful. Like, having space weapons doesn't delete everything you get from war rooms. Interestingly, though, let's say we did do this, and they would be willing to give us 93, but they're giving us master trade. What? Okay, well, that's not how I thought that worked. Maybe that's only with military shit. Maybe the quirks are different. I'll have to look into that more. I'm not ready to give away counter-espionage, to be honest. Ooh, do I bite the bullet? $23.69. You know what space defense is in this? 1802 or 1675. I think I'm okay with that. You guys, what are you gonna do with the money anyway? Okay. So now, what we're gonna start doing is getting a few specific, like, planetary these things. So Oracle of Krynn needs to happen as ASAP as possible. Literally right now. This one, production's trash. Production here is pretty solid. So one of these is going to be diplomatic translators. And I guess you can make the Galactic Bazaar after you're done here. How much for this? A few thousand. How high can we tax people and still beat 100? Pretty hard. So after a couple turns, I can buy the Oracle. But I might not. Ooh, me! Nice. Let's see what planet that went to. Chebyshev 1. Which is, oh, this one. Diplomatic translators in 14 weeks now. Look at this. Does it show up here? It does not. Okay. Anyway. So, some stuff to talk about here. Why did I put a counter-espionage on this tile? Well, it's because I planned on later upgrading it into the Oracle of Krynn. So, when you upgrade a building into a new building, how much does it cost? Well, the cost to build a building is whatever it is. But if you're upgrading that out of some other building that's already there, you don't have to pay the cost of those hammers. So, for example, if the Oracle of Krynn is like 500 and the Counter-Espionage Center is 200, I only have to pay 300 more hammers to get the Oracle up and running. And I wanted the Oracle on this tile. There's a gnat in my room. That's going to be aggravating. So I put that here, knowing that it would eventually build into the Oracle of Krynn, but faster. Now, is it worth it to buy this now? It might. It's going to be a huge influence bump. I'll be crushing everyone else's economy, boosting my own by a lot, and I can get progress on this faster, which I think is worth it to me. So, 122, but I am putting the Oracle of Krynn on here. I'm putting the Oracle of Krynn on here, which is a 200% boost on the double square. So if I do this, we go to 246. And I can't wait for you to see what that's about to do to the borders here. Now that also is a big happiness bump, so we also can tax people a bit harder. And look at those borders. Oh, I forgot to say. So there's a reason this hasn't happened yet. And it happened now. I'll talk about it in a second. Blah, blah, blah. So the game starts January 1st, 2227. It is not possible to begin a culture victory or begin culture flipping anyone's worlds until the next year, 2228. And it happened on the first turn because my influence is so much higher. In fact, I might be close to yeah, I am now actually doing I'm about to do an influence victory, which I didn't plan on doing, but that's why at the beginning when I saw this tile on my planet, I thought to myself, "Oh, I win." Because look, no one even has a military yet. No one can do anything to me. Like, what's anyone going to do? And now I have this planet. So, you know, let's put this on here. Let's get this going on here. And let's start tipping our toe into military type stuff. And we're culturally winning. This is going to be like a 1-hour vid and we'll be done. Advanced diplomacy. I might not even get expert diplomacy done before this is all finished. Oh, I spoke too soon. Oh, man. All right. Well, since we're about to get a culture win, let's make sure it happens by pushing culture a little harder. Oh, and the other dragon planet just flipped. Okay. Let's give it one of these and one of these. And you know what? One of these too. Why not? Get all that done. And you, Nugent, can make the Galactic Showcase. Now, if we were actually going to have a chance to get this done, that'd be great. Got the diplomatic translators too. Hell yes. Galactic Bazaar on its way. Look, even their planets, their home planets are starting to flip. I wonder if Drengi will flip before the game ends. We'll see. All their all the mines are flipping to me as well, so I'm getting a bunch of free production. And Galactic Bazaar. Ooh, that's too much money for now. I'll do it. Take that, Courts. I win. I'm getting 500 money per turn. Which is why I'm just kind of buying stuff now. Also, this is part of why I didn't bother getting the mining resources. Like, would they have helped me right now? Not really. Oh, look, people have a military now. That's fun. Let's go ahead and get the Order of Krynn done. I hope it's not too loud, because that music can be annoying sometimes. Let's see. I win! Wow, that was a short, easy game. So that ended up being more of an influence victory than a diplomacy victory. So I'll just explain one more thing that I was going to look to happen. So the reason I was stockpiling all those diplomacy techs, all the diplomacy wonders, is if you're aware, all the economic and research treaties in the game are helpful to have if you can get them. Now, they are viewed just as another trade item. You don't have to give someone your treaty to get their treaty. You can give them a bunch of money or a technology for it, or if you're feeling creative and spicy, maybe one of your lesser planets, whatever. Thing is, you can get all these. It's possible, and I do it basically every game as the Krynn, to collect everyone's economic and research treaties. All arrows pointing to the Krynn. Now, the way you do that is by getting all of the diplomacy technologies and all the diplomacy wonders that you can before the time that those research treaties become available. So, if you've ever tried to put one into a trade before it's allowed, you gotten that annoying message from the AI like, I don't know, it's too early, let's see how things pan out, let's not get involved in treaties yet, it's too soon, I'm not ready for that kind of a commitment, or whatever they say. So those treaties are actually on a timer, and they go live at the same time every game. It's what the calendar is for at the top of the map. That's legitimately what I use it for. I use that calendar to keep track of diplomacy type stuff. So, at the beginning of the year 2228, that is when influence victories become possible. That's when planets will start to culture flip. And then the following year, February 1st of 2229, keep that one in mind. Remember this date, February 1st of 2229. That is when all the research and economic treaties become available, and they are not available until then. Now, usually, this has only ever happened to me once, that the AI get with each other turn one before I even get to take my turn. But usually, you can just get them all for yourself. So if you have all the really high diplomacy stuff, that which all helps you in trades, if you get the diplomatic translators, you get the galactic showcase, you get the galactic bazaar, which increases your perceived trade value, you get all these things. And that's why we went so hard on diplomacy and the ability selection. All of that, literally all of that, was for the sake of getting all these research and economic treaties. Because, and I'm not, I haven't tested this yet because I keep winning, but I don't think the AI likes declaring war on you after giving you a treaty. Or it might be the other way around. Or it might be both. This is something I still want to test. But I know that if you're doing treaties with somebody and you start a war on them, the game is going to be like, are you sure? Because you have a treaty with them, and that's going to make you look untrustworthy. And you have to say yes and then go from there. So, something to keep in mind if there is a particular civilization that you really don't want to go to war with, but you think they might want to go to war with you, give them one of your treaties and see what happens. I want to play around with that and see if that does anything. Okay, that's the information I wanted to give out. Let's look through the endgame summary here. It looks like, yeah, everything except technology, because we're the Krynn. And we have an innate minus 15% to technology, which is another reason creativity is really important on them. With economy, of course, we're the most. We didn't do anything with the military, and we won. Technology. Less technologies than everybody. And this is one of the most important lessons in the game is it's not so important how many technologies you research as it is which ones you research. It is more important to spend a little bit more time taking the right technologies than to just like try to grab as many as you can. Like I tried it once because I was sure it was bad and I wanted to see how bad it was. So for a game, that's what I did. Every time I finished a technology, the next one I would pick would be just whatever the next cheapest one was. And I went through a lot of technologies and got a whole lot of nowhere. So it's not so important. They did counterespionage by themselves? I get the logic there. They're going to be, since their economy was basically ruined, they have no way to fight people off, fight off people's spies, because they're never going to have enough money to play that war, because spies are basically just a money contest. Which is why the Krynn are so good at that. You get so many spies and you can just ruin somebody. Krynn are really impressive. I personally think Krynn are one of the better civs in the game. We can talk about which civs I think are good and bad sometime, but I think the Krynn are really good. Okay. Military, No one did anything at all. Most powerful ships were star bases. The same ones. Huh. My economy. Um, that's not fair. That's not per week, by the way. That's per month. So there's 4 weeks per month. So it's about 150 per turn average. These guys basically broke even. These guys are slightly negative. These guys were a little bit in the green here, probably from all the trade they were doing. All right. And big time approval. So, military, right towards the end of the game, people started to get a military, doesn't matter. Population, a lot of this is, well, on one hand, I was able to, so right about here is as far as the actual population can be tracked correctly, because this is when I got one of the Dragon's planets, and here I got another one. So, the reason this is higher is, for one, I got 2 planets, which is great, but the whole game, basically, all my planets were at 100% happiness. Or at least the capital. I was always growing planets super hard, and this is the population bonus you get for doing that. Research, garbage. This little period here is when I went literally 100% into research just to get the way done, and it came right on back down to here. Manufacturing never really mattered and all that. Influence. Can you tell where on this graph that I put the way on the diplomacy boost tile? That's right. All right. Well, this ended up becoming more of an influence thing. We played on a medium map, and I still won an influence victory like right away. We won an influence victory by the time people were like making the first basic ships. That's how dangerous the Krynn are. And that's, I don't know, a rough guide to how you start a game as the Krynn. We didn't get that far into the game, but that's a pretty basic and pretty effective opener for the Krynn. Is you just rush a political capital, and then you rush the Oracle of Krynn. That's it. That's their strategy, or at least for the first like year. And then I would do a whole bunch of focusing. You go for the diplomacy stuff, rinse people and trades, get really good technologies by not researching themselves. Like, okay, let's look at this again. Where's overview or tech? This text researched only counts the ones I did myself. It doesn't count the fact that I got like 10 plus techs in trades from other people. So I'm like at 22 right now. Did I really do the worst? This is the text I did myself. That's why diplomacy is good. All right. So this was the Overexplained video. Thanks for watching. It was, I guess, ended up being more of an influence win than a diplomacy win, but still informative, hopefully. All right. Thanks for watching.